Hello dear students, welcome to EDUHUNT video lecture series. And we have seen that how the adrenal gland works and what are the different secretions of adrenal glands. Basically, adrenal glands are also known as suprarenal glands as they are present just above the. These are the orange color structures in the picture, adrenal glands. These adrenal glands are suprarenal in position and they are separated regionally into two regions, adrenal cortex and medulla. Adrenal cortex has three zones: zona glomerula, outermost, zona, middle one, zona fasciculator, and the inner one, zona reticularis. Outermost part of the cortex that secretes mineralocorticoids, aldosterone, and the middle portion secretes glucocorticoids, cortisol, and the third and the innermost layer or the innermost region of the adrenal cortex is the zona reticularis, which produces sex corticoids. Anyway, these are the secretions which control the blood electrolyte, especially sodium ion balance, causes raise in the sodium ion concentration in the blood. And they also responsible, these adrenal cortisols, responsible for the stress suppression of the immune system. They are anti-stress, inflammatory, especially anti-inflammatory. They also raise the blood glucose level, hyperglycemic factor. And these are the various functions served by different parts of the adrenal cortex. Let us see the next portion, that is the adrenal medulla. Before going into the details of adrenal cortex, just have a look where the adrenal glands present, the location of the adrenal glands in the 3D picture of the video.
The cortex and the medulla, which are each responsible for producing different hormones like adrenaline, cortisol, and aldosterone. Adrenal glands, also known as suprarenal glands, are small, triangular-shaped glands located on top of both kidneys. Adrenal glands produce hormones that help regulate your metabolism, immune system, blood pressure, response to stress, and other essential functions. Adrenal glands are composed of two parts, the cortex and the medulla, which are each responsible for producing different hormones like adrenaline, cortisol, and aldosterone. Adrenal glands, also known as suprarenal glands, are small, triangular-shaped glands located on top of both kidneys. Adrenal glands produce hormone.
I have taken this video from YouTube. At biology exams for you. I thank this channel at biology exams for you for such a beautiful, wonderful animated video. It helps students to understand the location of the adrenal glands in the human body. Thank you so much. Let's get into the details of adrenal medulla. Adrenal cortex we have seen. Now the adrenal medulla, it is also called as emergency hormone. Emergency hormone and also triple-F hormone. That is especially adrenaline. And medulla secretes, adrenal medulla secretes two hormones, epinephrine or adrenaline, and second hormone, that is norepinephrine. Norepinephrine, also called as noradrenaline, which are secreted by adrenal medulla. Adrenaline, also called as emergency hormone, and emergency gland. Adrenal gland is also called as emergency gland because of the function. It is responsible for fear, responsible for fight, and even responsible for flight. That is escaping from the situation. పారిపోవడం, అయితే భయపడుతూ ఉండడం, రెండోది ఎదిరించడం, మూడోది పారిపోవడం. దేనికైనా సరే రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ దిస్ adrenal medulla is responsible for that behavior. హ్యూమన్లో వచ్చే ఈ బిహేవియర్కి కారణం ఏది అంటే ప్యూర్లీ adrenal medulla. ఇప్పుడు మీరు హోంవర్క్ చేయలేదు బట్ without any fear, if you stand in front of your teacher, it is because of your adrenal gland medulla secreting this hormone, adrenal hormone, adrenaline, emergency hormone. If you also stands with fear, it is also responsible for your behavior is what we call, it is regulated by the adrenaline. And also if you tell your teacher that I didn't do my homework, I didn't complete my homework boldly, if you say boldly, then it is also, it's not your fault, it is the adrenal hormone is doing that. And even if you escape the situation, if you neither face the situation or nor take it as a challenge, or you are not dealing properly, but you are just simply escaping the situation. Like హోంవర్క్ సబ్మిట్ చేయమన్నారు. హోంవర్క్ సబ్మిట్ చేయమంటే మనం ఏం చేస్తాము, యాక్చువల్గా బాగా చేసిన వాళ్ళు అందరూ ఫస్ట్కి పెట్టేస్తూ ఉంటారు, నాది బుక్ ముందు చేయాలి, నాది బుక్ ముందు కరెక్ట్ చేయాలి అని. చెయ్యని వాళ్ళు, యావరేజ్గా చేసేవాళ్ళు మధ్యలో పెడతారు. చెయ్యని వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారంటే అయితే బుక్ పెట్టరు, లేదా లాస్ట్లో పెడతారు చూడరు కదా అని. లేదా ఇంకా తెలివైన వాళ్ళు అయితే లాస్ట్ కాదు ఫస్ట్ కాదు, సమ్వేర్ ఇన్ ద మిడిల్ పెడతారు. అంటే ఎస్కేప్ అవ్వడం. ఈ బిహేవియర్కి కారణం ఏది అంటే adrenal medulla. And hormone, this gland is also known as emergency gland, and it secretes two hormones, adrenaline called epinephrine and noradrenaline also called norepinephrine. These are the two hormones secreted by adrenal medulla. And hormones of medulla are chemically, these are catecholamines, which are the derivatives of the amino acid tyrosine amino acid నుంచి ఇవి ప్రొడ్యూస్ అవుతాయి. సో టైరోసిన్ అమైనో యాసిడ్ డెరివేటివ్స్ ఈ catecholamines are the constituents of these hormones. Adrenaline also known as epinephrine and it is commonly called as the emergency hormone or the triple F hormone. As I mentioned just now, fear, fight and flight, facing the situation and simply అక్కడ ఉండడం, భయపడుతూ ఉండడం, రెండోది ఎదిరించడం, మూడోది పారిపోవడం. ఈ మూడింటికి కారణమైన హార్మోన్ adrenaline hormone, and it stimulates sweating and even it stimulates the heartbeat and even breathing rate. మనం భయపడుతూ ఉన్నప్పుడు మన బ్రీదింగ్ డిఫరెంట్గా ఉంటుంది, మన హార్ట్ బీట్ దడ కొట్టేసుకుంటూ ఉంటుంది. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ అండర్ ద కంట్రోల్ ఆఫ్ adrenaline hormone, and it causes the dilation of the coronary artery present in the heart and supplying blood to the heart muscles and bronchioles for increasing inspiratory volume in the lung and pupil, that is eyeball, for better vision. సో మనం భయపడినప్పుడు ఇవన్నీ జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి, మనకు తెలియకుండానే జరిగిపోతూ ఉంటాయి. అయితే కళ్ళు మూసుకోవడం లేదా మనం కళ్ళు పెద్దవి చేసి చూడడం, ఇవన్నీ కూడా అండర్ ద కంట్రోల్ ఆఫ్ ద హార్మోన్ adrenaline, and it is hyperglycemic hormone. Hyperglycemic అంటే మనం ఆల్రెడీ తెలుసుకున్నాం, raise in the blood sugar glucose level, increases the amount of glucose in the blood and increases blood supply to brain and skeletal muscles. బ్లడ్ సప్లైని ఇంక్రీజ్ చేస్తుంది ఈ హార్మోన్ బ్రెయిన్కి, స్కెలిటల్ మజిల్స్కి, అండ్ ఇట్ ప్రమోట్స్ బ్లడ్ క్లాటింగ్ ఫర్ ప్రివెంటింగ్ ఎక్సెసివ్ లాస్ ఆఫ్ బ్లడ్ డ్యూరింగ్ ఇంజరీ ఆర్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ. మనకి ఏదైనా కట్ అయినప్పుడు ఇట్ స్టిమ్యులేట్స్ బ్లడ్ క్లాటింగ్. బ్లడ్ కనుక క్లాట్ అవ్వకపోతే చాలా ఎక్కువ బ్లడ్ లాస్ అవుతాం. సో టు ప్రివెంట్ దిస్, ద adrenal hormone also prevents the excessive loss of blood when injury happens. It also inhibits the functions of related to the alimentary canal. Example, reduces the secretion of saliva and gastric juices, bile juice, pancreatic juice and intestinal juice. And it also slows peristaltic movements and inhibits food absorption. These are all caused by the adrenal hormone, that is adrenaline. All the activities are related to the emergency situations in the body. Emergency, ఏదైనా బాడీలో ఎమర్జెన్సీ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఎలిమెంటరీ కెనాల్లో డిస్టర్బెన్స్, గ్యాస్ట్రిక్ జ్యూసెస్ సరిగా సెక్రీట్ అవ్వవు, అండ్ ఈవెన్ సలైవా సెక్రీషన్ and pancreatic juice secretion, gastric juice secretion, all these secretions are under the control of adrenal gland because it is an emergency gland, emergency hormone. So it influences the activities of the body, including the digestive activity. It increases the heartbeat, it increases breathing rate, it regulates breathing rate and promotes blood clotting during injury. And noradrenaline, it is the second one. It vasoconstrictor and saves blood from excessive loss. Constriction ante like makes it narrow, and it constricts peripheral blood vessels, raising blood pressure also. If the lumen, this is the lumen, if this lumen is widened, blood flows with less pressure. If it is narrow, then the blood flows with high pressure. It causes BP by constricting it is a vasoconstrictor and constricting blood vessels. And it secretes erythropoietin. Erythropoietin, that is responsible for production of blood cells, RBCs, and even renin also. Let us see erythropoietin. Erythropoietin hormone is a glycoprotein, the chemical nature of the hormone, and it is commonly called as hematopoietin. Hemo is blood, poietin production. It is blood producing hormone, EPO. It is secreted from the peritubular capillary network of uriniferous tubules, that is nephrons of the kidneys, and stimulates red bone marrow for the production of RBC called erythropoiesis. Poiesis, I said, poiesis is production and erythro is red blood production. Red blood corpuscle RBC production is called erythropoiesis. It is bone marrow gets stimulated by the action of erythropoietin, which is under the control of noradrenaline. And next one is the renin. In addition to erythropoietin, renin is also secreted. Basically, renin is an enzyme. Primarily, it is an enzyme. It is secreted by the glomerular cells, that is juxtaglomerular cells of juxtaglomerular apparatus, and it converts plasma protein, that is angiotensinogen, which is an inactive protein, angiotensinogen, responsible for secretion of aldosterone, which is in inactive state. Angiotensinogen, it gets activated by this hormone renin. It forms angiotensinogen. It converts angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1, which changes the angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2. The angiotensin 2, which stimulates the production or release of aldosterone. Yes, aldosterone. Aldosterone is a mineral corticoid which influences, which stimulates or which raises the sodium concentration in the blood. And even heart is also releases some sort of chemicals which have effect on bodily functions. It is primarily a blood pumping organ. We all know that heart is a blood pumping organ, but it atrial walls. Atrial ante there are 2 atria and 2 ventricles, auricles and ventricles, like this. These are the 2 atria, auricles, and these are 2 ventricles. It is the blood pumping organ of the body, and the walls of atria, these are the walls. These walls secrete hormones called natriuretic factor ANF. Natriuretic factor. It promotes the natrium concentration, that is sodium concentration in urine, and inhibits absorption of sodium from the NaCl form from the collecting ducts, that is present in nephrons, kidneys. Also inhibits release of renin, which throws RAAS, renin angiotensin system. RAAS is renin angiotensin system, which increases the amount of sodium in the blood, and it is secreted when osmolarity of the blood or the blood pressure raises. That is, whenever the blood pressure raises, it tries to regulate the blood pressure by balancing the sodium ion concentration. So this is done by the ANF, that is produced by heart. So this is about the adrenal gland. On the whole, now we have finished total hormones, total glands, and also hormones produced by these glands. And glands are the structures which are responsible for secretions. They control the bodily functions. Endocrine glands are such glands which secrete their chemicals. These are non-nutritive chemicals. The endocrine glands which produce the chemicals are non-nutritive in nature, and they pass through the blood circulation and they reach the target organ and they function there and stimulates or it inhibits. Whatever be the function, they travel through the blood and also they stimulate and sometimes inhibit the target organ. And these chemicals are produced in trace amounts. We call them as hormones, the name given by Stalin. So these details were described in the previous sessions. We have seen pituitary gland, anterior pituitary, middle pituitary, and also posterior pituitary. And even we have seen pancreas, thyroid, parathyroid, gonads, and adrenal glands in detail. Thymus gland even we have discussed. All these glands, they secrete different hormones, and some of the glands secrete enzymes along with hormones. Best example is pancreas. Pancreas have two different follicles or cells in the structure, and the acini are responsible for production of enzymes, and the Langerhans islets or islets of Langerhans they have different cells, alpha, beta and delta cells. Alpha and beta cells are responsible for glucagon and insulin. These details we have seen in the previous sessions. And adrenal gland, which has cortex, medulla, all these things, all these structures, all these regions, they secrete different chemicals, different hormones. They function on different organs of the body. For example, adrenaline, which is responsible for, which is considered as an emergency hormone, responsible for breathing rate and increase in heartbeat while we are in emergency, and also causes blood coagulation while injury happens. It is adrenaline is a triple F hormone, fear, fight, flight hormone, and also the aldosterone, and we have also seen corticoids, mineral corticoids, glucocorticoids, sex corticoids are secreted by different regions of adrenal cortex. Adrenal medulla secretes two hormones majorly, adrenaline, epinephrine, noradrenaline or norepinephrine. These function differently. And anyway, these are responsible for electrolyte balance and also the glucose balance in the blood. In this way, they regulate the body. And this is how chemical regulation happens in every mammal, especially human being's body. I think you have understood to some extent, but basically this chapter is considered as chapter under knowledge and remembering part. దీనిలో అప్లికేషన్ ఏమీ లేదు, అప్లికేషన్ పార్ట్ ఏమి ఉండదు. ఎక్కువగా మనం అర్థం చేసుకోవడం, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవడమే. నేను ఆల్రెడీ ఎప్పుడు చెప్తూ ఉంటాను, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవడానికి ఓన్లీ మంత్ర రివిజన్, నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్స్ చదవడమే. ఒకసారి రాలేదంటే వచ్చే వరకు చదవాలి, ఒకసారి రాలేదంటే రెండోసారి కూడా రాకపోతే మూడోసారి చదువుతూనే ఉండాలి. సో నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్స్ మనం చదువుతూ ఉంటే మన క్యాపబిలిటీ పెరుగుతుంది, ఈవెన్ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ కూడా పెంచుకోవడానికి స్కోప్ దొరుకుతుంది. మీ అల్టిమేట్గా మీ గోల్ రీచ్ అవ్వడానికి పాత్ వే ఈజీ అవుతుంది. అదర్వైజ్ మనం ఇప్పుడు బద్దకిస్తే ఆ బద్ధకం దానికి కన్సిక్వెన్సెస్ ఫ్యూచర్లో మనం ఫేస్ చేయాల్సి వస్తుంది. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు చెప్పింది ఇప్పుడు చదవకపోతే రేపు ఎగ్జామ్లో అన్ని సబ్జెక్ట్స్ చదవాలి కాబట్టి మనం ఏమనుకుంటామంటే బయాలజీ అనగానే చదవగానే వచ్చేస్తుందిలే గుర్తు పెట్టేసుకుందాంలే అండి. స్ట్రెస్లో ఇప్పుడే మనం చెప్పుకున్నాం స్ట్రెస్ హార్మోన్స్. ఆ స్ట్రెస్లో మన హార్ట్ బీట్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయిపోతుంది, బ్లడ్ ప్రెషర్ కంట్రోల్లో ఉండదు. ఇవన్నీ మనకు అవసరమా? మెంటల్ టెన్షన్ వస్తుంది. ఇవన్నీ అనవసరం కదా. సో మనకి తెలిసి మనము మన బాడీని హెల్తీగా హ్యాపీగా ఉంచుకోవాలంటే, మైండ్ని ఫ్రెష్గా ఉంచుకోవాలంటే ఎప్పటిదప్పుడు క్లియర్ చేసుకుంటూ ఉండాలి. సో నేను ఇచ్చే అడ్వైజ్ చక్కగా ఈ హార్మోన్స్ అన్నీ కూడా ఒక టాబ్లర్ ఫామ్ వేసుకోండి, ఈజీగా చదవండి, లేదా ఫ్లో చార్ట్ వేయండి. హార్మోన్స్ ఆర్ గ్లాండ్స్, ఈ ఎండోక్రైన్ గ్లాండ్స్ అన్నింటినీ కూడా 4 వేసుకోండి. ఇలాగ బై 4 వేసుకొని ఒక్కొక్క హార్మోన్, ఒక్కొక్క గ్లాండ్, ఆ గ్లాండ్ ఇచ్చే హార్మోను సెక్రీషన్స్ తక్కువైతే ఏం జరుగుతుంది, ఎక్కువైతే ఏం జరుగుతుంది, డిఫరెంట్ డిజార్డర్స్ చెప్పుకున్నాం, మనం సిండ్రోమ్స్ చెప్పుకున్నాము. ఇవన్నీ కూడా చదవండి. ఓకే, ఆల్ ది బెస్ట్.